Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. In this video, I'm going to use or model the wired city I posted in Instagram and Twitter a few days back, um, using Airflow and using Random Flow and Creative Flow. So let's start by creating a cylinder, circle shape, and F to create a face and I to inset. Actually, let's increase the resolution, WS, and then loop tools circle to make it a circle. So I put it in my quick favorites as well by hovering over the command and right clicking, and here it's going to, if it's not in quick favorites, it's going to be assigned to quick favorites. So click that, and when you press Q, it's going to be there. I'm planning on making a small add-on to make it possible for you to rearrange this if it's possible. So yeah, so we have our ring. We're going to create a thickness for it. Control F and S, F9, and then manage the thickness or modify the thickness. And then that little orange dot there is our origin. So we're going to create or mirror this on the top side, but we're going to, in edit mode, move this down. So when we mirror this, or the mirror from this side, X, Y, and Z, so the top side is mirrored there. All smooth. Now we have our tiny base, small base mesh, or initial base mesh. So just thicken this, and so somebody asked about the let me address a few questions about the redo panel. This is the redo panel, and also the cables later on. Questions about gravity, and let's start with the redo panel. So someone asked that they're not seeing live changes like this. So this is actually in the PDF guide in the redo panel chapter. If you're not seeing that menu, go to F4 preferences and look for global undo. I think it's in editing. No. Global undo. Input navigation interface. Come on. System. There we go. System. And check this on. If I check this off, look at what happens. The special menu that I've been using for random panels becomes an OK button. So if it becomes a confirmation button, you can also use this type of confirmation button by going to setting it this way, going to add-ons in the random flow panel. Use confirm menu for random operators. If you check that, it's going to be like this. Okay, OK button. So if you move this, there's not going to be an initial change because it will only activate once you press the OK button. So pressing the OK button, and we have the random panels here. And you can also use F9 anywhere in the viewport to make it pop up under the mouse cursor. So for those that, if you want to sacrifice live editing and make sure that the menu is constantly here, you can always use the confirmation button. but you can't have both. Okay, so it's static there. So if you toggle or maximize the redo panel, and every time you okay something, there we go, and the menu stays there even if you change the orientation. So the only caveat is that disadvantage is that it's not going to be live. Okay, so let's just use the live one instead, because I'm used to that. So system, turn on global undo, and when I use it again, it's going to be live. There's no more OK button right there. Okay, so the trick is when using this type of menu, if your OK button will be the, you can use any of these enumerator buttons to be your OK button. Okay, if you don't want to change the numerical values, for example, if I want to uh, activate the script, so I might want to edit the numerical values. So if you want to avoid that, keep the numerical values. Use any of the um, just click any of the highlighted um, highlighted I don't know what is in property buttons like this, or choices. So for example, walk. So just like that. So you don't have to, if you want to keep the settings, just click one of the highlighted in property values. Okay. And later on, we're going to address the cables once we get there. Okay, I'm going to add a few more resolution just to get a variation in the result. So I'm trying to modify the placement so the shortest path and the longest path can actually work. Okay, let's try loop extrude and go for big shapes first. I'm going to activate inner outer materials for now, so I can quickly select faces later on. Use 5%. Increase the base cuts and use limited dissolve to get rid of the wrinkles. So I'm probably going to use number instead of percentage 25. So we're going to look for something that resembles something that is going to work for what we have in mind. So a city. So we're going to look for shapes that works for that theme and also for the uh, scale of the thing. So this is our big shapes. Let's try shortest and longest. Nope. Right here, longest, shortest. Okay. And let's try 5 faces here. Okay. Okay. That's our initial um, shape. We can work for that. This is already, I think, secondary. Uh, let's try something smaller. and use another loop extrude, just one loop, and reduce the resolution for now so we can play with the offset better. If this is higher, the other properties will be slower because of the processing of the script. So if you want to play around with the other numerical values faster, you can just reduce the subdivision and then just adjust the values. And then once you have the necessary values in mind, then you can up the subdivision again and play with the don't hang okay and play with the global seed. It's gonna be slow depending on the number of subdivision in the base cuts, in the loop subdivision, and in the panel size. So the smaller the faces get, the slower the process will be, okay? Versus a large percentage. But we're just using it to actually create faces that will break the outer and inner spaces of the model. Okay, so I think we have this could work. I'm just going to save it. Ring 002. Okay. So out of all this chaos, I can still Blender will enable me will still enable me to select the base image underneath using the outliner, or hovering over the geometry where I know where the circle is, circle object is. Alt right click, and it will show me all the objects underneath the mouse cursor. So I can select circle and Shift H, hide everything else. So I'm going to apply this since I already created a mesh as an asymmetry mesh, and use this first. Alt H to show everything else, and select the circle again. If you go to edit mode, you can see our selection, and then we're going to use catenary. Cables. So there is no gravity system here. Catenary will always point towards the z-axis, or in this case, the negative z-axis, towards the ground, the global z-axis of the ground. So there's no gravity here actually. So instead of curve, we'll just use catenary because it's designed for the gravity effect. So for straight lines, we can use curves later on, and adjust the depth. Where's the depth? Depth. Radius, not depth. It's radius. So increase the cable amount. So the soft minimum is 100, and sliding the mouse won't let you get past that. The only way to get past that is to enter something higher than 100. So 101, and you can then go past that. So 200, you can then just 300, use 300, and then you can go past that. So let's try 300. And okay, that's a little too crowded. 200, 250, and adjust the radius again, not the depth. Okay. You can still play with the slack seed. Randomizes the slacks, and origin seed randomizes the start and end points of the cables. Okay. And let's choose the circle or the base mesh again. Let's select everything. Select this one here. Alt H. Select circle again. Check. Good. use the script, and then uh, use the random seeds. So, and then the wires here on the side, so circle again and delete this, and you select this face here, Alt H, select the circle again. So with the cables, the curve solver is going to be straight, but you can, okay, let's select the circle and use this. Okay, so let's use smaller amount. You can try to offset. This is the literal XYZ, so this is basically global XYZ. I can't see the X. Where's the X? I'm going to edit this probably in the next update so you can see the XYZ. So that's X, that's Y. And this is a normal offset. If we set the normal offset is set using the normal picker. And we also have the wiggle, which we can reduce the resolution using these steps. And what is the offset? Oh yeah. So this is basically noise. So we're not going to use the wiggle, the normal offset. So for the normal offset, you see here, you can pick the normal of a face or the normal of the direction of the viewport where it's looking at. So if you use this on the empty space, it's going to use this look at direction. So if we um, use this again, cable curve, there we go. That's the normal offset. Where is it? Yeah, normal offset. So that's the one. There we go. Maximum, minimum, and we can adjust the curvature right here. So we can set it as 0 and not of, and you just use straight lines. Okay, so 250. If you want to use the normal of the face, just click on the surface of any model. Let's actually view the other geometry. Okay, 76. That's a whole lot of wires. So 250. Okay, so save again. I'm going to create another effect using the circle. And this time I'm just gonna use this topology. We just even topology. So remember that the for the faces to be worked on by the randomizers, it needs to be quads or tries. And yeah, you can play around with the topology so it will have, I'm selecting every faces here. It will have unique impacts on the result of the randomizers circle. And I'm going to use random panels and oops, cuts is 5. No. reset. Control click to reset. 0. There we go. And max like that. Thickness is 0 as well. And use just outer. So we're going to use that. Okay. And number to be more sensitive. 5. Okay. 2. 20. Maximize panel size. Panel amount. 5. So increase the resolution. I think this video should work properly with those kind of. I probably pick the wrong geometry. Nope, I picked the right geometry. Okay, let's work on the top ring first to make it lighter for the script. Random panels. Okay, there's probably a problem with the. Nope. Oh, it's the height that's making it um act like that. Probably rework the script and make it faster in that regard. So let's do it again. Outer 0.1 and panel size. Let's try radial. Walk 50% faces. Panel seed. There we go. And let's try the other one, circle. Walk and work with the panel seed. Save. Okay. So we can create another clutter effect using just the scatter. Select the all of the faces and select the circle object, random scatter. Just use cubes and explode. Reduce the scatter size. So 500. make a difference between the scale of each object. Randomize the scale of each object in the XYZ direction. Okay. The blocks are probably bigger, too big, and increase to 1000. Okay, we have our ring city that I did for you. Select all of the curves and transform it to a mesh type object. So we can put vertex color in it, random vertex color, just black and white, and island. So per island, the colors will the islands, face islands in each object will have different gradations of gray. Okay. Okay, and we're going to activate the HDRI. Use this one. And append a material that I used for the previous ring model. Selecting everything. Materials, assign material. Let's see, rendered. And let's frame it in the render window. And use square. Go to track lights, camera, lock to view. Focal length 150. Adjust the lighting. Let's try this one. Okay, and let's go to the shader. Shader is using J's placement texture for the very tiny details or bumps and also the lights. So we're going to change the lights to just reset a single color. You can go for this one. So black and white. Let's try 0.4 saturation or 0.2. And we can even animate this, but we're not gonna we're probably not gonna see this effect in cycles. Let's try and render this in Eve, whatever it can render. Most of the shader will only work in the okay. Well, actually, it can work. Will only work in cycles. You can animate this. Shift Q, random animation. Say that is too fast, and it's 1000 frames, and continuous. You can see those, I don't know if you can see it, those tiny, those small little stuff we did, the scatter. There it goes. Cool. Like fish, schools of fish or something. Let's try this one. And Zay, okay, and this one as well. Zay, you probably go to the other side. There we go. Let's uh let's try rendering it in cycles. Not possible. But the only way to see it is to actually render it frame by frame. So probably gonna do that and use the smallest amount of sampling to get it done quickly. And yeah, 1000 frames. Timeline. Yes, 250. Okay, so that is our wired city. Let's go to shaders. Actually, let's just render it before we go. Before we end this video, check. I'm going to use 64 samples and performance, persistent data, use styling. I usually start at 256, and in here in the passes, they and denoising data. And I'm also going to just uh, open previous file that okay, here. This is the first iteration of the wired city. Go to composite, just control C, V, and then just paste it again on the oh, so that's why I should have saved it. um do not save your blender using material preview. Just before you quit or before you save, um revert back to solid. Okay, go to composite, use nodes, backdrop, delete this, control V. Oops, holy cow. Rings, control C, V, control O, don't save again. Close the program. That's embarrassing. Control V. Okay. Control O, rings, control C, control O, don't save, and open ring 2. Oh, it's compositing. My God. It didn't crash, it's compositing. That's the only annoying thing about the compositor window. Every action you take, sometimes just moving the nodes, it will recompose it. And it's so annoying sometimes. Okay, F12. Just make sure that we're not using 400% on the. Okay, and set this to JPEG. This is later. Check the render and try to render F12. Okay, yeah, in certain distances it could work. Uh, we've lost some of the details because of the amount of sampling, but you can actually use lower samples to make like a drawn effect, like it was paint, like your model has been painted, or your render has been painted because of the effects of low samples, too much noise, and because of the uh denoising effect. It will kind of blur or mix together those noise color of those noise in the low sample render and make it look like it's been painted. So you can use that effect. Actually, let's try it here and see if it works. It works on most occasions, but sometimes doesn't. How about four samples? Oh, four samples. There. So you can see that it's kind of muddled. Uh, some parts are actually muddled. So you can use this effect to actually, if you're doing over paints, you can actually use this effect to start painting your objects. Okay, or your image rendered images. Okay, so that is it for this video. And if you have any questions, be sure to use the comment section and the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.